We are live 1 minute early, and no one is here yet, and so things are dark. And in the beginning, the world was void, and then suddenly, the Lord was like, "Hey! All right, here we are." Actually, that's not. I wanted to do this one first. Hi! Hi! No one's here. No one's going to watch this. For those of you that are watching after the fact, welcome to Orthodox Review, the most uneducated educational program here on the internet today. I am your host, Guy with 1.5 thumbs. I'm very, very pleased to have you here in the boat with me today. We're going to have a good time today. We're gonna go over a new book. We're going to pray an Akathist. Not necessarily in that order. We're going to talk about some other things too later in the stream. But because I'm not pre-recording this particular book review, I wanted to try to get everything up front nice and tidy, and then we can kind of go off the rails in the later part of the stream. First and foremost, thank you again to all my Patreon subscribers, my channel members, people that support through the PayPal tip jar and the Cash App. Huge shout out to Randy Shin for helping me out, to Amy, Patrick, Peter, the other Patrick, everyone that's just been so generous and gracious these past few months in helping me keep the thing alive, keep things going. And so without any further ado, so what we're talking about today is this new release from St. Tikhon Monastery Press, Akathist and Molyebins that are served at St. Tikhon's on a regular basis. Usually, a publication like this is like, okay, Akathist, whatever. But these are Akathists, well, one in particular that you can't really get anywhere else. So the three Akathists are to the Most Holy Theotokos, She Who Is Quick to Hear, which is the name of the stream, because that's the Akathist we're going to pray today. They have a copy of that icon at St. Tikhon. It's a working icon. It's made the rounds. It was actually visiting when Schema Monk Anthony was tonsured to the Megaloschema at a Holy Cross. And so actually this is a really good picture of them with the icon. Anyway, now that icon in particular is a form of the Directress icon. I guess we can go to this one now so you can understand what I'm talking about. As you can see on the screen now, the Directress icon, She Who Is Quick to Hear. Now, I don't have this icon. I don't have a Directress icon of this style per se. The closest thing I got is the Ivern icon, which I love, but it's more like a close-up shot. So we're going to have this on screen for the Akathists. Now, the other two Akathists in here are two righteous ancestors of Christ, Joachim and Anna, which actually you can find in Volume 2 of the Akathists published by Jordanville. The third Akathist is to St. Alexis of Wilkes-Barre, Enlightener of North America. That's St. Alexis Toth, which is the patron of a young man at church. And it was so cool. He came up to me yesterday. He's a little socially awkward, Hey, who isn't? Anyway, so he comes up to me after liturgy, before coffee hour yesterday, and he pulls this out of his pocket. And immediately, I'm like, oh, my guy. But so Saint Alexis, I'm pretty sure that's his patron saint. And this is a new Akathist, and they don't tell you this, but it was written by Metropolitan Tikhon. So that's pretty cool, I thought. And then, of course, the Molyebins for each of those as well in the book. For those of you that don't know, it's kind of like a litany. It's a supplicatory prayer that is, you need a priest for it. We're not going to do anything with that here. And then it has like a truncated version of the Molyebin in the back as well. Now, I wish I had two cameras again so I could do the top-down thing. So I will say, And the link to this is right at the top of the description. If you click below, really love the artwork, but it's much like many paperbacks that are printed these days. It's not that gloss type of cover; it's that matte sort of whatever they put on that. And this only came out like a month ago, I think. It's $15. Doesn't say where it was printed. But the cover and interior designed by Priest Michael Hill. And Priest Michael is the HNIC over there at St. Ticon's, who is busting his chops and working his hooves to the bone, trying to get new publications out to all of us, including that Psalter, which, fingers crossed, end of the year. But, and I just kicked over a bag of coffee, because that's something you leave laying around. Pardon me. But as you can see, on the inside here, you are going to see this all through the book. On the edges, and it makes it a little nicer. Like, I haven't really broken this in yet, but I kind of cracked the spine a little bit. You can even see right there. So it's very nice. Hello, Peter! Peter, how are you, my friend, my brother in Christ? You're not the same Peter that runs Christian Orthodox Miracles and Prophecies, are you? That would be awesome. That guy, I love him. So anyway, so the way it's laid out is Akathist Molyevin, Akathist Molyevin. And like I said, these are practiced regularly at St. Ticon's Monastery. So I thought, because there's really not much to review when it comes to a service book like this. It's not like a prayer book where you're comparing translations and they left out this prayer, but they have this prayer, or a higher end book where you're really kind of nitpicking the construction. So in a case like this, I mean, we're 7 minutes in and we're done pretty much talking about it. And I really padded it out. So we are going to pray the Akathist to the Most Holy Theotokos in honor of her icon, she who is quick to hear. Now, here comes the fun part. Should I sing it, or should I just read it? You are a different Peter, but yes, he is very cool. But I'm so glad that you're here, and thank you for checking in. All right, so throat is a little dry, but we're gonna try singing this. And I'm gonna face this way because that's where my prayer corner is. And that's where the icons are, but there's an icon on your screen. So you don't have to look at me. I prefer if you didn't. Man, I hope my voice holds out for this. And if you're watching this after the fact, feel free to skip ahead. I'm not Pavarotti. All right, Kentuckian 1. Here goes nothing. O Theotokos and Queen, chosen from all generations, who are quick to hear our humble prayers, O Lady who pours forth streams of healing upon the faithful from thy holy icon, we offer to thee prayers of thanksgiving, O most merciful Lady, our defender. Listen with compassion to the voice of our praise, and free us from all adversity as we cry out to thee. Rejoice, O Lady, full of goodness, quick to hear us, fulfill for our good all our supplications. The angelic hosts ministers to thee in awe, and all the heavenly powers bless thee with voices unceasing, O Virgin Theotokos, who gavest birth to Christ God, the King of angels. We sinners therefore dare to imitate them, but in that we are not worthy to glorify thee with their divine praise, in our humility we sing aloud to thee. Rejoice, abode of God unapproachable. Rejoice, eternal wonder of angels. Rejoice, holy throne nourishing us with the bread of life. Rejoice, fruitful olive tree, whose oil of mercy is a balm to our hearts. Rejoice, inexhaustible tabernacle of the gifts of God's grace. Rejoice, ever-flowing streams of miracles. Rejoice, defender of the oppressed. Rejoice, helper of the helpless. Rejoice, comforter of them that mourn. Rejoice, restoration of the sick. Rejoice, healer of the infirm. Rejoice, liberator of those in bondage. Rejoice, O Lady full of goodness, quick to hear us, fulfill for our good all our supplications. O Queen of Heaven, knowing thine inexhaustible mercy, and the many miracles granted by thee in the past and the present through thy holy icon, by which thou hast adorned the whole Christian world like a divinely bright star, by thy good will thou hast exalted the human race. Therefore we bow down in awe before thy holy icon and call to thy Son, Christ our God. Alleluia. O Theotokos, manifest heavenly wisdom, thou hast condescended to glorify thine earthly portion, holy Mount Athos, with the many miracles of thy holy icon, which thou thyself didst name, she who is quick to hear. With a divine voice thou didst speak from thine icon, that all might know thy good will towards them that sing to thee. Rejoice, Mother of Christ, and mercy to us all. Rejoice, abode of the Holy Spirit. Rejoice, revelation of God's love for man. Rejoice, edification of the human race. Rejoice, bright dwelling of God the Word. Rejoice, greater than the Holy of Holies. Rejoice, Mother of the Lamb divine. Rejoice, restoration of the staff of life. Rejoice, pure golden stalk of the food of immortality. Rejoice, nourisher of the universe. Rejoice, hope for salvation of them that call upon thine intercessions. Rejoice, expectation of our heavenly inheritance by thy prayers. Rejoice, O Lady full of goodness, quick to hear us fulfill for our good all our supplications. You really want to listen to me sing all 12? You get the idea. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. By the power of God, O Virgin Theotokos, thou didst punish Nihilus, the steward of the refractory of the monastery of Doshero, with blindness and infirmity of body, because he walked impiously in the presence of thy holy icon. Thou didst do this, that others might not dare offend thee in thy holy icon, which thou mercifully gavest as a pledge of thy goodwill to the entire holy mountain of Athos. Therefore, all its inhabitants piously raise their voices to God, the Word, born of thee, and they sing Alleluia. I'm glad I read that one in a normal voice, because I don't know too much about this icon. I did zero research into the greater history of the icon, but it is beautiful, and man, I like singing Akathists. I don't know about you. I get nervous, when I'm doing it on the stream and all. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I don't know how old this Akathist is. I would imagine it's not too much younger than the icon itself. Hey, Pooey. But yeah, I think it might still be on sale for $12 right now. So head on over to STM and pick it up. Now, I did try to find a good icon or a good reproduction of said icon. I couldn't find one that wasn't on like eBay or Etsy, and I'm always really wary of those, because now that I know what I know about people stealing images and augmenting icons, which is, you don't do that. I was a little hesitant to put one up. I'll link for one up in the description for everyone. So forgive me on that one. I'm sure I can get legacy icons. I seem to remember having at least a printed card of this icon somewhere, and I can't find it. I've got a lot of icon cards. Anyway, so that's that. That's the review. That's the Akathist, or at least the first, two Ecos and Kentucky, and the first and the third Kentuckian leading in. But anyway, so yeah, it's a marvelous little book. Fits right in your pocket, and go pray. So that's it. So now, if you're watching this after the fact and that's all you were interested in, great. Here's where we get to kind of loosen our ties, so to speak, have a little bit of fun, talk a little bit of shop, and all that fun stuff. Sip of water. Oh, delightful. So I've been talking a lot with Chris Anderson right now. He is in the Balkans on pilgrimage. He'll be there for a few weeks still. But when he comes back, a lot of really cool news coming out his way. He's been sharing some stories with me and some videos and some pictures, and I'm really excited to have him back on the show so we can present this stuff to you and talk about all the cool things he's going to be working on. Peter says, I'm the one that asked you about that prayer rope from St. Paisios Monastery. Ended up getting one. It is great. Yes! The St. Paisios prayer ropes are awesome. Decetheus, welcome, brother. Like ships passing in the night, I'm always working when these things start. What part of the country are you in? Of course, listen, I'm disabled. I don't work. It's lunchtime. I wasn't really thinking about it too much. I was excited to get it done because I knew if I didn't live stream earlier in the day when I had some energy and some excitement and fervor, that by the time the evening rolled around, I'd probably be too depressed to put in the work. So, but that's also why I planned out the live stream the way I did. So when people go back to rewatch it, they know right away that like the first 15 minutes, that's the show, and then the rest is just fun and games. I'm glad to hear how Chris is doing. He has been missed. Yes, he has. It's a shame he lost his YouTube channel. Just goes to show you can't say whatever you want because you got to toe the line. But what I'm more excited about is the rekindling of our friendship. Oh, you're in Georgia. Okay, bro. Oh, you're in an ambulance. God bless you, dude. Lifesaver. But yeah, so he's been all over the Balkans. He went to Mount Athos, and he sent me about a 22-minute clip describing his experience on Mount Athos, and it shook me to my core. And so I gotta get to Mount Athos, man. So I'm talking to my old priest, my old father confessor, Father Peter Robichaud, about going to Athos once I get everything settled and if I'm physically able to do so. I told Chris I'd crawl there, that. So, but yeah, so I thought about asking if I could post some of his stuff either in the stream or as independent, but I decided just gonna wait till he's on the show and do a live stream with him so that everyone can ask him questions and whatnot. But he's got some stuff. He's got some irons in the fire that I think everyone's going to be really excited about. And I'm excited about it. But outside of that, Wilmington, North Carolina is still hot and sweaty. That's still a thing. Spooky cats. Stories about spooky, right? I'm outside on the front porch having my cigarette, waiting for my ride to liturgy. And Spooky Cat's outside. And she usually comes inside before I leave. No problem. And she comes in with a bird. So I'm like, get out. I come inside. I get her to take the bird back outside. As soon as I turn around, boom, right back inside. Oh, I absolutely will advertise his appearance well in advance. So she comes back in with the bird, and I'm like, I don't need this right now. Doug's going to be here in a few minutes. So she brought the bird into the bedroom, and she must have really done a number on this thing, or chomped it just right, because it didn't have much fight left in it. She jumps up on the bed here with it, and I had my red blanket a little more spread out. And she is just tumbling over herself, beating this poor little bird up. I felt so bad. Anyway, I'm like, all right, whatever, I'm going back outside. I'll wait till she's done and then clean up the mess. So a few minutes before Doug gets here, I come back in. The bird's dead. And she's like pacing around it, crying at me like, why isn't this thing kicking anymore? I'm like, whatever. I get it onto the floor. It's like, I'm just looking at this thing. I'm like, all right. I was going to go clean it up, but Doug's out there. So I get going. I come back after church. Clean up the bird. And she's still like looking pretty bummed out, like the bird's dead. And I'm like, yeah, you killed it. You're a cat. But I will say she has been very affectionate lately. I'm all about it. Spooky Cat's always been kind of aloof. Well, when I first started the channel, she was only a few months old. When I first started the channel, almost 4 years ago now. So she turned 4 last month. So when I first started the show, she used to get in the way all the time. It was adorable. That's kind of like how she became the show mascot. And then I guess cats go through like this teenager thing where they don't want anything to do with you. They're just kind of asshole. So anyway, and so lately she's been like insists that I squish her head all the time. It's kind of adorable. Jury 86. Yes. Yeah, she was thrilled to have another dead thing. It's 2:19 a.m. where you are, Peter. Yes. Even though I was resting, I thought, well, God bless you. Thanks for stopping in. And there's Michael. Yeah, Akathists are awesome, and I still gotta get that old computer out to you, my dude. So that'll be happening soon. But yeah, so that's what's up with Spooky Cat. She's doing great. She's doing fantastic. I am gonna have to leave this space by the end of October. My priest has assured me that I've got a place to go, so it's in God's hands. That's happening. I do have one other book on the way. New Rome Press is sending me a copy of their new book on prosphora baking, and so it's got instructions for baking prosphora, as well as prayers that are supposed to be said whilst baking the prosphora and in preparation. And so I've worked out a little deal where, in addition to that book review, the wonderful lady that bakes the prosphora at St. Basil's, me and her husband, we're going to get together and bake prosphora, and we're going to film it and go through the book and all that. It's going to be a really cool episode, and it'll finally be like something more than just me at a desk yammering about go buy books. It'll be a little more instructional than that, and break things up a bit. So that's what's going on with the show. Those are the only 2 books. So this one and then the other book that's on the way. The only 2 in the pipeline right now. I'm trying to get through some other things. We'll get them. Matthew says, poetry is a side hobby for me, and Akathists and the Psalms are 2 of my biggest inspirations. Right on, dude. And that's the cool thing about Akathists. Like, you can write them. You can just write an Akathist. You might not get a blessing to, use it liturgically or publish it, but you can at least write them. So I like that those things are inspirations for you. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, we have, ageless tradition in our Holy Orthodox Church of writing these hymns, and it just, they evolved into the forms of poetry that they've become, with the Akathist consisting of Eremos and Ecos and all that. And so yeah, so you're carrying on a very holy tradition there. So right on. Yeah. So that's pretty much all I've got for today. These live streams never get more than, I can't remember the last time I had more than 20 people in the live stream, so I'm not too worried about it. I just wanted to get this out there. Anything else going on before I cut you loose? Because I think it's time for me to go get my ice cream. Oh, yeah, one last thing. I'm going to have ice cream today. Ice cream. A few dollars, I'm going to get some ice cream. I don't usually eat ice cream because it's decadent. It's very, I love ice cream. I killed a black widow spider today, and I'm severely arachnophobic, so patting myself on the back a little bit about that one. So I'm going to treat myself to some ice cream. But at any rate, what's up, Lamont? Anyway, so that's it for today. That's it. And yeah, hope. And if you're on your lunch break, thanks for sharing it with me. If you're doing something else, share. Thanks for coming around and listening to some prayers and talking about it. Akathist to St. Ambrose. No, I don't want to help. Oh, you're talking to the other guy. Yeah, other dude. Matthew. Yeah, help him out. So anyway, that's it. As you were. Thank you so much for stopping in and spending a little time with your old pal, Raffy. As always, on behalf of Spooky Cat and myself, don't forget to go to church, say your prayers, and remember God. Love you all to bits and pieces. I really, really do. Get out of here.